Hello and welcome back to the channel where we are making a video game from scratch using Love2d and Lua. So we're adding these goblets of fire to outside of Mage's Castle here. So we just exported the atlas. We've got to bring it into the game and onto the... Actually, yeah, a lot of our stuff, our animatables are actually needing to be in the atlas because that's how our animatables are working. You know, we have things like entities that can have a state of an animated thing, but as far as things that we can draw on screen in our map, we have to kind of put it in our global map atlas. So what we'll do is open up our master sheet. Cool. So yeah, we just need to put, we can plop them down here somewhere. Is it what, 5? If it's 5, let's see, we called it Atlas, what do we call it? Sconce Atlas. So if we bring our sconce over here, this is perfect, 5. Yep, we will place it right here. So if we put it in the atlas like this, we have to define, so look, I'll save this as a master sheet PNG. We will use this first square here as the starting point. So how we do this, you know, we have to, well, first of all, we need to know which number in the tile ID it is. So we have this tile numbered, and we can see that that very bottom left is actually tile 993. So 993 will go to our constants. No. Okay, I know I've done that before. Okay, we need this anim starter, what do we call it? Right here. 993 is our sconce anim starter. Now we could have an ender, which is what, 5 frames? So it goes 93 to 4 to 5 to 6, which would be 997 is our last anim ender. So we should have these things. All this is an enum of a starting point, but we need to add it to our global animatable updates so that we can update the frame over time with an anim spitter. And then that'll give us the ability to insert those sconces wherever we want just by painting the first frame of them. What's up, Loki? How's it going, man? Yeah, we're gonna... what is it? Animatables. We have to see where we define this stuff in the anim spitter. Right here. Right here, anim spitter. Okay, so we're gonna have a just call it a sconce, and the first parameter here is the sconce anim starter. Endpoint is sconce anim ender. 0.35 for the time. I think that's okay. And then, so this is just a anim spitter, which is just an object, but we need to update it over time so that we can get the proper frame that we need to render it out to. So let's look at where we do this. Let's just do flowers. Let's see what we do with our flowers here. Yeah. Okay, so we define the anim spitter. Then we update in our insert animation. We need to update our sconce. Okay. And then insert anim. Yeah. This is just something we do every frame. And then what is happening is it cycles through the animatables table for our current scene, and it goes to every index, and it just executes the function that we store in there. That is the yo, what up, Matt Bird? Yeah, I don't get it. Sometimes it only shows people when they're actively chatting, and sometimes people can just lurk, because like I saw it there before you chatted, so I don't know how it knew you were there. Okay, this is not right. See how we're adding these animatables, which, why is this only in the tome success state? We should be inserting this stuff somewhere else outside of the tome. Right here. Okay, map declarations. Yes, this is it. That is weird. I don't know. Okay. So the way this works is this is in our data downloader, right? So we draw the tiles in our tiled application. We export it as a Lua, as just a huge table of tile IDs. Then we're checking the tile ID. This is like the 3-dimensional array here, right? So map IJK, the actual tile ID in a given scene. If it's equal to that starter, then we need to actually add the function to update the frame from the anim spitter. So we'll say sconce, you know, if and this being equal to sconce here is basically just saying if the tile that's in any scene, if it is that first frame of an animatable, then we're going to go ahead and insert into our animatables table a function to insert that animation in the given row column. And what we're inserting is the frame of our global anim spitter that changes over time since we update it every frame. So we're going into the animatables table, we're inserting a function itself. So we're storing the function inside this table for us to execute later. And the thing that we're inserting is actually the current sconce frame, which updates over time. So now we should be able to draw a sconce, which we have not done yet. Let's spawn us over. Before I do this, let's just get the scene row and call of Mage's Castle here. Okay, so it's 9-2, and we want to put the sconce here and here. So 9-2. Okay, 9-2. Now, we're going to pull open our tiled. And we're going to... Now we've got our sconces down here. So we're going to go over to frame 9-2, which is way over here. Okay, right here. Okay, so I believe our animatables are in... Oh, God. Let's see. Our animatable water is here in our ground level. That works fine. Oh, I just thought of something, though. We need it actually in a collidable map layer because you can't walk over the sconce. So it needs to be elsewhere. Yes, we don't want it here. We actually want it up here. Wow, we are running out of room in our collision. Our collidable map boxes. We can't really fit it pretty anywhere over here. Okay, if we place it right here, we save that PNG, we can reload our tiled. And now, here in the above ground, we're going to get rid of this old pit. And we are instead going to put the first frame on our ground tile layer. First frame of our sconce right here. Actually, yeah, we do want it in above ground because it needs to be over the grass that it is on top of. So we'll put it right there. We will export as a global map. And we'll see. Okay, they're not updating. They're there. They are not updating. I think we might have to do it. I think our animatables only work on the ground level, which is not good. Because if we were to erase these off the above ground and instead try to put them here, let's try it. It'll look awful there, but I think this will get them animating. No, still not animating. Okay. So, is there an example? Let me see. Is there an example of where we have an animatable on a above ground layer? I don't think there is. Okay, so we're not updating something properly. Map declarations. We do a sconce. If it's equal to, it's equal to the sconce starter here. If it's equal to the sconce starter. Yeah, that should be it. We should get the animation now. No. Fuck. Sconce anim starter. I thought for sure that was it. Oh, we do it for both layers, so we aren't doing one here. Okay, so we have a sconce anim spitter. We update it in the insert anim class. Okay, cool. Then we have two lines in map declarations where we are inserting. Actually, no, yeah, it should be right here. If it is equal to the sconce anim starter, then we're going to insert. That should be right. We might have messed up the anim spitter, but then again, it's not much to mess up there. Anim spitter, give us the anim starter. Yeah. Because we could, you know, we could just say that this is a random, what was it, 997? See, yeah, I don't think that's right. Ground tile, yeah, ground tile. Okay, well, our water is on the ground level tile, so we know those insert anim functions are running on that layer. Sconce anim starter. Yeah, 993. So unless that 993 is wrong, I don't know what else would be wrong. Yeah, 993. Oh, we changed it. Oh, we changed it. We moved it over here to be a collidable map object. Yeah, so it should be right here, 152 to 156, I believe. Let's see. Yeah, it's going to be right there. So 152 to 156. Okay, here we go. There we go. We got movement. We got our fire sconce. I want it to be faster than that, animated wise. So we should be able to go into the anim spitter and just speed it up. I don't know if a bigger number is faster or slower. Looks like slower. So we'll do like a 0.1, maybe speed it up. Nice. Yeah, that looks pretty sweet. Let's see. I don't think we can add it. Let's see. I don't know if we can add it on a secondary layer here. Because ideally what we want to do is we want the ground level to be this grass, but the above ground level to have the first of this sconce. Yep. Yeah, we don't have the ability to insert an animatable on any tile other than the ground level, which this is something I've been wanting to do. Like, I wanted to add flowers, since the flowers, like, look at this. Our flower animatables, we have two, one for grass, one for autumn grass, when in reality we should just have one flower with a transparent background, and the transparent background, you know, we can place a flower on any type of ground level layer. So ideally that's what we can do. There's this mistake here that I've been missing. Okay. Yeah, so I don't know if we want to figure this out tonight, man. But if we look at how this is working, we have this animatable, and it takes in... see, this gets confusing, because this is an insert animation class, and all that's doing is, one, it updates our global animatable anim spitters, and then two, it also executes the function that is stored inside the animatables. Right. Now, we're not actually using this insert anim, are we? Oh, this is so weird. This is a global function, so we are using insert anim, but it's like totally outside of this class. So it's a little weird that we do this, but when we do insert anim, all it's doing is updating the tile ID of the current map tiles ID. So tiles.id, yeah, because the .id is ground level, dot above ground ID is above ground ID, and then top level is top level. So the fact that insert anim only updates the .id tells me that we only do it for ground level layer tile animatable starters. So we could add an option. You know, we can add an option parameter to be like, I don't know, dude. I don't know. Half of me is wanting, it's like, since we only have 2 sconces, half of me just wants to just do 2 animatables with the same background so that we can just insert them and call it a day. Which is really lazy, but we have to finish. We have like, what, 9 days until our playtest demo needs to be ready. So yeah, maybe we just do that. Maybe we just bite the bullet and do some double anims for this. You know, I mean, unless we can think of a smarter way to do the insert anim, where do we actually, oopsie, because where do we actually do this? Right, we execute the function that's in there, which is that insert anim. So if by the time we're inserting, you know, if we search for this insert anim, and this is what goes into the .animatables table, yeah, right here. Because maybe, you know, maybe we can say, maybe our insert anim does take an option, and the option is a string of what level layer. So we can say that this is above ground. And we can say, okay, well, the not lava flow, shoot. This is in the wrong. Right here, map declarations, yes, for the sconce. Let's update this global insert anim function to take in an option as a string of what layer we need to put it on. Now, I want to pass in above ground to the sconce. So what that should do is not update the .id, but the above ground ID. So if we look at that to make sure we're remembering that correctly, above ground ID, nope. Where do we do it? We do it, it's here in map declarations. See this, see we have a tiled map above, ground tiled map, top level. Above ground tile IDs. Where's our freaking .id though? I don't even see that. See this above ground tile IDs. We just go into the tiled map, insert the ID. See, this is weird. We don't even have it in the .id field. Yeah, so like what we're doing, what is this tile ID? Tile ID. You know, tile ID is like, oh my god, yeah, it's literally just what of the 80 tile IDs at a given map, and then we're saying, see, I would think that this right here is where the .id actually gets assigned, but we don't have anywhere with the .id. We don't have it. Tile ID, tile ID. Where do we do this? Yeah, tile ID. We have to be doing it somewhere. We have to be assigning it because this is how we're doing it. It's just in our tiles table, the .id. I don't get how this is happening. Tiles, we have a .tiles table. We insert each one. Right here, this is where we do it. ID. ID gets whatever. Okay. Okay. So this above ground tile IDs is the thing we want to enable with this extra parameter we just added to our insert nm function, which is global. Where did we write it? Insert nm, and it's going to be in our map declarations right here. Yep, we added this above ground as a string to a fourth parameter to our insert nm, which is a global. This is weird. I don't like that we do this, but it works. Basically, we want to add an optional option here, and we're going to say, well, if the option is equal to above ground, then we want to insert not into the dot tiles. Oh, see, this is weird. Yeah, we don't want to go into the current map tiles. We want to go into the above ground tile IDs. I don't know if it works like that though. Okay, well, it doesn't crash, but yeah, it is an above ground. Okay, yeah, it's not animating. If the option, which is the fourth parameter, is equal to above ground, yeah, I don't think this is right here. I think it's actually tiles, but it is above ground tile ID right here. No. Not quite it, not quite it. Above ground tiles. Yeah, it is above ground tiles. .id. Above ground .id. Yeah, .id, yeah. Above ground tiles .id. So above ground tiles. Okay, so let's do this. Still not it. Dot tiles, dot above ground tiles. Above ground. Yeah, man, we should have, yeah, the .id in this table. Let's make sure it's still animating if we put it on the ground level. And if it does, then I am surely doing it wrong. Yeah. This is weird. It kind of overrides the above ground layer tiles though. So yeah, this is unexpected. Cause see how it's a black background behind the sconce there? That tells me that the animatables is just overriding all layers. It really is. Oh, maybe not. Yeah, no, it is. Because look, if we were to put in the above ground layer, we want to put this lava here, right? So it looks like lava. If we export the global map, we're just seeing. Yeah, see how it's not rendering that above ground if it's an animatable. Okay, so I was not expecting that. I thought that this would change that, right? If the function that we put in there has an option of above ground, we're not going to the dot tiles table. We're doing, you know, I mean, this would screw everything up, but let me just see if we get our lava back. No. Huh. The .id in the above ground tile layer. What up, Squinch? How's it going? Yeah, I want to say this isn't doing anything. I want to say that line isn't doing anything, but it is because now we've got the lava in there. Yo, we're trying to fix, we're trying to fix this problem where right now for any animatable tile that we insert, it has to be on the ground level layer of our tiled here. So like our ground level, our above ground, top level tile IDs. Right now, animatables can only be imported via ground level, which we're trying to put these sconces in. These little goblet of fire, which ideally we want grass behind them. Uh-oh. Yeah, ideally we want the grass behind them like this, but we can't animate them if they're not on the ground level tile, and if they're on the ground level tile, they don't update. Or they update, but they leave a black background because it's only the one tile. So we're trying to figure that out. I thought it would be as simple as this, where if we pass in an option of above ground, then instead of going into the ground level tile table and updating that ID, that we would go into the above ground tile table and update that ID instead if it's an above ground level. That way it leaves the ground level ID untouched, so it renders it like normal, but then changes the above ground tile ID to get updated over time with the anim spitter. But it's not working. We get the first tile in there, but not the animation. I thought for sure it'd be this. Because if we comment this out, now the insert anim is using this option, so therefore it shouldn't actually update the .id. Wow, that's weird. So it's still it renders the ground level and the above ground level no problem. It just doesn't update because it's in a option of above ground, and then it doesn't update. If we were to put this line in here, since it is an above ground, we're going to get that transparent background, which is wrong here. Actually, I thought that would break. That's a little weird. Huh. It's above ground. That is really weird. That didn't give us the same mistake. It's still broken, but it's a different mistake. Okay, so let's just get rid of this option. See if our mistake is back. No. Okay, I guess I'm just misunderstanding it then. Well, the issue with that transparent background was when we put the animatable on the ground level layer. That's when we got the mistake. So it's rendering right here, it's just not updating the above ground tile ID. I thought for sure that would break. Okay. I thought for sure that would break the ocean back there, but it did not. So, what? Okay, yeah, see, that breaks it. Okay, so does it really then? Well, that's weird. If we do this above ground layer, then it changes the above ground layer. But why aren't our sconces in animated? Because this is the same deal. Let's take out this above ground parameter. Oh god. Yeah, the fact that the ocean renders and the sconce doesn't is what's confusing me here, because we changed this whole function to insert into a whole different layer, and it's working as expected, but the update isn't working. So that's just what it's the update's only not working for the sconce and not the water. So maybe we just need the sconce. Well, that was always the problem anytime we put it right here. So it's almost like the Animatable. Yeah, it's... Oh. Yeah, it's got to be this. It's got to be this. When we... Okay. I think I know what's going on then. So the idea is, the way we thought will work, it's just that when we insert animatables, we need to pull from the above ground layer as well as the ground level layer, because right here, technically, this insert anim function is updating only the tile IDs on the above ground tile, which proves that we can update that different table and have it look right. So I guess the only thing we have to do is kind of figure out how to not do this. You know, we want to do this only on tiles, right? Which would still be the same, which is, yeah, I mean, it's a little jacked up because we have an above ground over it. Okay, so yeah, the thing is, when we do our map declarations, we're inserting an animatable only into, or only off the tiles table, not the above ground tiles. So where are we doing that? Because look, we do this. It's literally where we were, where we ask what the tile ID is. See, shoot, man. It's right here, because we're only inserting an animatable based on the ground level tile ID. It's a little strange. It's a little strange because the way we structured our scene on this 3D array, when it goes map IJK, K is actually the ID of the tile that is at whatever row and column of whatever IJ, which is the map row map call of the greater overworld map. So it doesn't have its dedicated .id field, but we do a ID gets, yeah, where do we do that? We found it before. ID gets something. Right here. Oh man. Now we do have, yeah, see, because we have 3 levels of tile IDs. One is the tiles table, which we're just assigning to be an ID right here. Now this is that 3D array that we were just looking at. So we're only inserting an animatable based on this ground level layer, not based off an above ground level layer or something. So if we wanted to add a ground level and then an above ground level animatable, we have to update how we insert the animatables when we do insert anim right here. Yeah, it's almost like we just have to ask, like, well, the sconce is only ever going to be on the ground level layer, so like what if we just say, well, if the dot above ground tile IDs, I think it's above ground tiles, like this. if the above ground tiles at index K, so the different layer is the starter anim of our sconce, then we're just going to still go into that same animatable table, insert that function. But then the difference here is we're still only inserting it into the ground level. Above ground tiles, above ground tile IDs. Okay, so yeah, we still are updating the corrupted water and the sconce, but what we have to do, I think what we have to do here, I think we do have to give this option. And then in our insert anim, we're going to allow this option to be passed in, and we want to say, well, if that option is an above ground tile ID string, just above ground, then we don't want to insert the animation to the .id of our tiles, but we want to update the above ground tiles with the animation that we are passing in, which is only on the above ground tile ID layer, not the normal one. So we'll put an else here for the normal stuff, and then we will put our grass on our ground level, and then on our above ground level we put in our sconce there, and we'll see if that works. Oh my god, it worked. It worked. So ideally we do the same exact thing but for flowers, because we have flowers being updated. See, these flowers here are with a bright green background, and then these flowers are with a muddy green background. That's because we didn't have this method that we just added where we can add things to the above ground level layer. We had two different ones. So now we can make only one flower, make it transparent background, then we paint the ground, then we paint the above ground animatable, and then we can add it just like we just added our sconce here, which is nice. So we can draw sconces over anything, you know, like we can draw just to prove that this is working. Uh-oh, not that. Yeah, we can add to the above ground a bunch of these sconces, which doesn't look good, but just to prove a point that we can render animatables on top of ground level tiles. Yes. Sweet. And then we have individual control for the speed and everything too. This is cool because now we can put, we could put sconces in other places too, other than outside of Mage's Castle here. So honestly, they could go good in Mage's Castle too, so that would be cool. So yeah, maybe we can add some of that. Think a little faster on the animatable there. Yeah, let's do a 0.1. I think I liked how 0.1 looked. Too fast. That looks good. Sweet. Love it. Okay. Yeah, part of me wants to just do the flower update now for that. We'd have to redefine a flower anim as... Yeah, part of me wants to just redo it now. Let's try to tackle it right now. I don't think it'll be that hard. So We might commit before we do this so we don't break anything. So let's just commit real quick, and then we'll try to update our flower, which we've been wanting to do for a while. Okay. So basically, instead of just checking for animatables on the base layer tile ID, we're now also checking the above ground tile ID. So we also need to, when we add the insert animation, we need to include this option of above ground into the function in order for us to either add it to the base level tile ID or the above ground tile ID. So it should be fairly simple to add this. Let's just say add sconce anims to above ground tile ID layer. And then let's dive in and try to fix it. So the idea here is we get rid of our autumn flowers and we make transparent our background. So we have a transparent background for the flowers now. So the idea is we have not autumn flowers, which we used to have. If we go in here and say we have this autumn flower starter, no longer. We can get rid of that once we confirm it works, but we need to draw this a little differently now that we changed our master sheet. As long as we saved our master sheet. Yes, we did. Okay, so now we have the flowers. So see how we don't have... See, our flowers are incorrectly on the ground level layer now. So what we need to do is go on our above ground and add the very first frame of the flower to the above ground. So any flower needs an above ground level flower. And then we'll draw the ground underneath it. Man, we put a bunch of these in. Oh no. We put in a bunch of these, huh? And we also need them here on the autumn level. Oh my god, we have so many. It's not a big deal because we're going to redraw these. It's just that right now they will be weirdly... Oh my gosh, they'd be weirdly black if you were to walk on a screen with them. Yeah. And this is another reason why just, you know, not moving the tile IDs once we make them makes a lot of sense, so we don't have to do weird stuff like this. It's not a big deal. We're going to be changing almost all of this, but just so we don't have black background flowers everywhere, we want to make sure we kind of get some of these. Yeah. Okay. All right. And then on the ground level layer, we put our grass behind it, which So the difference here is we only have one flower anim, and the flowers can be placed above any transparent, any ground picture we want. I'm going to try to find the edge piece right here. Yeah. There we go. Because see, look, we weren't able to do this before and have like a flower over an edge piece of a road here because it's like overlapping the yellow. We weren't able to do that before. So now we can put an autumn color behind it or an autumn background like that, an edge piece behind the flower, which is kind of cool. So that is kind of cool. Although we have so many freaking flowers to touch up. I want to try to put, I want to see what the flower looks like over tall grass and see if that yeah, it actually kind of works over the tall grass, so we'll do that. This doesn't matter, right? This is just placeholder stuff. Really doesn't matter. We missed all these flowers. Okay, so I think this should work. We should be able to just export it and have it work now. So let's see. Because basically we just don't have autumn flowers anymore. We just have flowers. And flowers need to be inserted. Actually, yeah, we need to change one thing, which is when we do our insert anim, we need to pass in that fourth parameter. Which is in our map declarations. Yeah, we need to check the above ground tile ID. And if it's equal to flower, you know, we need to take out the flower here and the autumn flower and basically say, well, if in the above ground it is this new flower anim starter, which is transparent, then we're going to insert into the animatables table this function with an above ground parameter, and that's going to update the above ground tile ID, not the base tile ID. And hopefully that would put flowers on the above ground layer. Let's see. They're not updating. They are not updating. Flowers, 10:15. Yeah, 10:15 are those flowers, so why aren't they updating? We update our flowers. Should be right, but then if the option above ground tiles. Sconce. It should work. It should work. Flowers, flowers. Oh, right here. we need to check our above ground tile ID for the flower anim starter. That should be it. Oh, come on. And then hopefully this fixes it and we can call it before ads hit. Let's see. Okay, we're looking for the flowers to move. Yes, flowers are moving. And yes, see, this used to be impossible. We weren't able to put flowers over in animated, you know, we can see the edge of the yellow here, whereas this is all surrounded by green. So it proves that we can put these flowers with a transparent background on top of anything. That is really nice. See, like it adds just a little bit of uniqueness, right? It's not just the pure 16 by 16, but it can overlay a little bit, you know, a little bit of layering. Let's try to find an example with over some tall grass and see how that looks. I think we have some over here somewhere. There we go. There's a tall grass one. Yeah. Yeah, cool. Can put it over tall grass. Sweet. Cool. I'm pretty sure there's going to be some empty squares up here, but maybe not. There. I knew there was going to be at least one. I knew there was going to be at least one hiding in there. Yeah, there's one up there too. Okay. So yeah, that's just like, uh-oh. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Well, that's cool. That's something we've been wanting to fix for a while now. So I'm glad we got it. Right there. That's cool. So that saves us one animatable. We can take that out before we commit. And also, I'm just going to get rid of that thing. Cool. Man, I want to take a whole day soon and just get a whole bunch of new sprites done so that we can fix this, you know, just so boring overworld, you know. We've had this same overworld placeholder for a year now. We should be able to update it. Sweet. Okay. I think I'm happy with this. So we'll export the global map. What we can do is we can take out any mention of autumn flower animatable. And then also there is one more part where we do a flower check. And we need to make sure, yeah, like this tome success state here. So what we need to do is do this check. Oops. This check needs to happen after our normal animatable level check, like right here. We need to check right here and take out the flower checks here. And then we can take out any reference to our autumn flowers. Yeah, so what we can do, yeah, we want to take out our autumn reference and take out the spitter, take out the update. Okay, looks like we're good. I don't think we'll crash. Sweet. Okay, cool. We've got sconces updating on the above ground tile ID, which is great. Same with flowers, which is cool. So now we are not limited to what layer we want to put an animatable. As long as it's not an above ground level layer. We could add that. Won't be bad, but it is not in the game as of just right now. So, sweet. Okay, let's call it. We will check out our diff here real quick. Okay, yep. Wow. Okay. Yeah, this is, we add animatable, or we'll say remove autumn flowers and replace replaced with transparent background flowers. So we will run our credits here, call it a night. Thanks for watching. I'll be back tomorrow. We'll hopefully get some more good work done. We'll find out who to raid here. Let's see. We've got Jed, we've got Brightside. Yo, thanks for hanging, Squinge. I'll catch you later, homie. All right, well, we'll call it a night. Thanks for watching. Have a good night, y'all. I'll be back tomorrow. We'll just say what's up to Brightside because he's doing some music production right now, so peace out.